Right. I think everything's working now fine. You can all see everything. If I check with my camera now and again, it's just because I'm still figuring it out. Sometimes it goes off. So today what I'm going to be doing is painting, continuing to paint this Vader commission. I know some people have obviously seen it on Instagram. I kind of blocked out most of Vader so far with like kind of block colours and things like that. So the plan today is to add a little bit more detail. But yeah, so I just decided that I wanted to do some streaming just to kind of get um to chat with you guys a little bit more, and also just to get a little bit more content. I'm thinking about putting stuff on YouTube and things like that. I'm going to be using oil paint today, so this is my disgusting palette. It might be a little bit of a delay. This is my disgusting palette. Half of it's dry. So what I'm going to be doing is working with oil paint. I don't know if anyone's used it before. I just prefer it a lot because of the long drying time. Like sometimes that can be a hindrance, but yeah, I enjoy it because I have to, with the job that I do, I have to jump in and out and paint in small bursts, if that makes sense. So it makes sense to do, yeah, to do it in oils. I enjoy it. And the blendability and things like that is just a lot more fun. Do you know, I'm so nervous today as well. Really nervous. So if I stutter or if I talk rubbish, that's why. Alright, so what I'm going to be doing today is I'm just adjusting. I've got a reference picture above the canvas at the minute. And I'm kind of going to be working in this area today, and just I kind of work in stages. I work bit by bit and I do get a little bit bored. So I might move from one area to another and things like that. So I've just got some thinner in a little cup down here. So if you see me reaching down here, I'm just grabbing some thinner. And let's have a look. I'm thinking I might start to darken this area up a bit. I basically got in most of the block colours. I use a lot of like purple tones and blue, obviously to kind of create that middle gradient where the red meets the blue. So I use a lot of purples to start off with. And this piece is a commission that someone from TikTok, I think it was. Someone just reached out on TikTok and they had seen previous paintings of R2 and C3PO. I don't know if anyone's seen them on my Instagram page. But yeah, they basically reached out to me and they said that they wanted two canvases. So they want one of Anakin and Vader, kind of like a split canvas. And they also want one of Palpatine as well. So like Sidious and Palpatine, like a kind of split. And they're going to put them on the office wall apparently. So it always makes me really excited to think of like artwork in someone's house. It always makes me really nervous to make sure that it's perfect as well. So to be honest, this hasn't actually taken me too long. I do take my time with it and I do jump in and out. It's not taking me too long, probably I'd say total time around 2 to 3 hours so far, and that's not including sketching the drawing out, if that makes sense. Sorry if my hand gets in the way there. So I'm kind of just finding areas to darken, like this mouth area on the reference picture is fully black. I do appreciate the questions in the chat as well, because I get so nervous and I'll start rambling about stupid things, so it kind of brings me back down to earth when people put questions in the chat. I kind of remember where I am and what I'm talking about. But yeah, I was really excited for this piece because obviously Anakin Skywalker is probably one of my favourite characters. I'm a big fan of the animated Clone Wars, and just kind of his journey to becoming Vader. I just found it really interesting, and I love his character and how much he cares for his friends. And kind of this kind of stage of painting, it's always quite a bit messy. I don't tend to put in too much detail this early on, because when you work with oils and you add any little details this early on, it's just going to kind of, you're going to end up blending it out. So I tend to kind of block it in, get some really nice blending in there, but it's likely that I'll end up adding another layer. And then this is all, so this kind of area, it's hard to like envision it right now, but there's, this area is all black as well. Yeah, I agree, his character arc is one of the best, and I think people who haven't seen Clone Wars, I don't think they fully understand his character if they've not followed that, if that makes sense, if you just watch the movies. Now this area here, I'm tempted to just paint it all in black, but there is kind of like white light reflections, like lots of texture here, so I don't want to, again, add too many details this early on. I'll try not to cover. I'll get in kind of a relaxed state and then realise that I'm covering, like so you can't see it on the camera. Alright. I hope everyone's doing really well. And yeah, bear with me because obviously this is the first time that I've done it. I am quite nervous. And I just felt really like going in with these really dark shadows, just to kind of get a understanding of the contrast so far. I've just realised as well that I had a big plan in my head of what I was going to say before I started and kind of introduce myself and what I'm doing. But normally your plans just go out the window when you're under pressure like this. I think total time, I think it'll probably take me, obviously the detailing on Anakin's face will be quite time consuming, so I'm thinking all in all probably about between 35 hours I think it'll probably take. And I can't ever have the time to sit and do that all at once. It's normally me jumping in and maybe working on it for like an hour or 30 minutes. No pressure. So I've really been stressed trying to get this set up because I've never ever used Twitch before. But yeah, it was kind of a really quick setup. Because obviously I'd never used the program. And it's just kind of been me winging it. So I managed to get a really nice template and make it look pretty. I think that's what I've prioritised over actually making it a workable setup. And again, I'm just kind of blocking areas out right now. I'm not adding too much detail. So I kind of did like a purpley wash previously, so I'm just darkening these areas. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people use this platform for streaming and things like that. I was originally just going to use Instagram, but this allows me to like upload videos so people can watch it afterwards. I know I can do that on Instagram as well, but I feel like Instagram just isn't really the platform for like long format videos. And you'll just find I just work in different areas, so I can see that there's some shadows here. And I'll just be placing them in slowly. And yeah, what's really funny is with this commission, I never had TikTok originally. But I just started like transferring any like Instagram reels that I use over to that platform. And then I managed to get like 3 commissions after one post, which was really, really good. But it's now making sure that I finish them. So I haven't been painting that long. Oh, thank you, Jenny. Hi. So yeah, so I've not been painting that long. I mean, I've been doing art for a while. I studied graphic design at uni with Jenny, who's just joined, and Alex. So yeah, we studied graphic design. So I didn't do a lot of, I mean, to be fair, when I was like 16 to 18, when we were at college, I did a little bit of painting at college just to practice. But we studied graphics, so we did a lot of digital art and got on, you know, we got our education in studying it on that type of platform, like learning Photoshop, Illustrator. But yeah, I think only in the past 4 years, I think I've jumped into painting. So I've always enjoyed drawing and sketching and things like that, and I used to and still do draw digitally on like Procreate and Photoshop, and I used to teach it as well. But yeah, about 4 years I've jumped into painting. I think the first one that I painted was actually Catwoman, which is behind me. I was just bored one day. We went into Hobbycraft. I seen large scale painting canvas, and I was like, I want to paint a really big Catwoman, and just kind of went from there. I did practice a few other large scale pieces before it, but I didn't really stick them out. I've still got them upstairs, like one's in one of my bedrooms that I painted of just a random woman. So yeah, I still feel like that I am still learning. It's still a learning curve, which is really nice because I feel like I have a bit of an emotional tie to every painting that I'm doing at the minute. Like I've just finished up with R2. I'm just waiting for the varnish to dry on that. And I feel really attached to it at the minute. You kind of get to the point where you're like, I just want to keep them, but you've also created it for someone else. And I'm really excited to see their reaction and obviously see it in their home, because the huge R2 piece that I've got, they actually want to put that in their like living space, the living room, which I think is really cool. So yeah, this is my palette at the minute. So I've got like purples and reds and blues and blacks and whites. At the minute I'm just going in with a black because some of the really dark shadows of the helmet are this really harsh black, and then we've got the light reflections. So I'm just trying to get that in first. And this is how I tend to work. I tend to go from dark to light. I find it just helps me lay out the painting really early on when I go in with these harsher colours first. Though I do sometimes change that process when I'm painting like detailed portraits of faces, because if you start sometimes with the darker colours on faces, it can go a little bit muddy and blend in as you add different colours. What I might do is I might add a little bit more here. This area is quite dark, but then it's got this like really vibrant red. What I might do, let me just grab another brush. And this part it has like a really nice gradient, so you'll see I'll focus on these like little areas, maybe blend them out a bit, go to another area. And yeah, that Catwoman painting that I started off with as well, well yeah, she's behind me. I still have so much detail to add to that. I've got so much work to do on it, but I think because I've got commissions at the minute, that's kind of taken priority. And I'm just kind of painting that for fun. Yeah, so the painting's going to kind of reflect Anakin's turn to the dark side and becoming Vader, if that makes sense. So this side's going to be red, really dark colours, and then this side's going to be blue. Just to reflect his lightsaber colours, if that makes sense. Some more red. So that's why we kind of have this kind of purple in the middle, because the blue and red are mixing together. Ooh, trying to not get my arm in there. So I'm just going to add some splashes of red. My palette is so... I'm so messy. Anyone who knows me knows how messy I am. And I'm just awful at washing palettes, so the one that I have now is like crusty dusty and some of the paint on it is dry. And there's like a red light flare like here. And sometimes I will just go in with my hand. I feel like the time's going really quick already, because I was planning on doing this for an hour and it's already like 30 minutes in. Before I actually shared the live stream accounts and things like that, I went live and it all worked perfectly fine. obviously I keep having issues and I keep forgetting I need to just check on that camera every now and again, otherwise it will just want to switch itself off. Now this area's gone a little bit pinker than I would like, so I might add a little bit more red into this area. A bit warmer tones. And then I'll add in some highlights later. So I kind of just leave it a little bit messy because obviously it's wet, and with oil paintings taking so long to dry, I can jump back into this again, add highlights or shadows and still carry on blending, which is really nice. And anyone who knows me, I work full-time as a teacher in the week, so the fact that this stays wet and I can jump in when I like is really helpful. So this area is a little bit weird. I'm just going to add bits of red here because there's a few bright highlights here, so I don't want to darken that too much. See some of these light reflections coming through, which is nice. And then I might actually brighten up, whilst I've got this colour red, I might brighten up this area a little bit. Okay. Might even add like the tiniest highlight here as well whilst it's wet. Because this area has actually got quite a bright highlight. Oh. I actually really wanted to do a helmet series, so you can see that highlight kind of coming through there now. I actually really wanted to do a helmet series, so like some of the different Star Wars helmets. And I don't just paint Star Wars, I actually I just love Star Wars, so I do like painting Star Wars references. But I do actually, I was speaking to Alex the other day, I really want to paint a dragon. Like a really large scale dragon in black and white, because we're both reading this book series at the minute called Fourth Wing. Some of you have probably heard of it. It's really popular at the minute. And there's really cute dragons in that I want to paint. Oh my gosh. I feel like it's really hard to choose a favourite clone trooper. But it's probably likely, you know, it's an obvious one. It's probably going to be Rex. I think you see a lot of, with his relationship with Ahsoka and his men and Anakin as well, I think, yeah, I really like Rex. And I actually really want to paint his helmet, which is funny enough. Yeah, as I work, I tend to just blend little bits. I'm just adding little bits of black and white as I go, and obviously if I need to add, sometimes adding the blue will cool this red down a little bit, which is nice. But I'm just using black and white at the minute because on the reference image it's quite warm, the red tones on it. Yeah, I love the Bad Batch as well. I would really like to paint Hunter's helmet. yeah, I'm thinking the dragon. I'm really obsessed with this. I need to wait until I can buy another canvas. But I want to do that kind of like Catwoman scale, like huge, just black and white dragon. Or possibly two dragons, I don't know yet. A little bit more red there. Um, to actually get perspective of what it looks like. So sometimes I do stand back a bit. Alright. A bit of white there. I have actually overpainted that earlier, so I'm going to have to go in with the lighter tone and kind of cut it off a little bit. But then it does go a little bit purpley, so I'm just going to grab some of this blue. Just cut in the corner a little bit here. Oh, thank you. I tried to make the layout really cute. I think I was focusing, I said before, I was focusing more on that than actually making sure that the cameras and everything else was perfect. So I've been really stressed trying to get all the wires sorted and everything perfect. I am looking at doing prints. It's in the pipeline. I'm just figuring out whether I'd rather print them myself, have my own printer and print, or do it externally. So I'm just trying to figure out what would be best. But yeah, I've already kind of photographed some of the paintings and prepped them to be prints. I've even made like little mock-ups to post on Instagram already, but yeah, I would love to have like a little print shop and maybe sell some like things like mugs, and I always like mouse mats as well. Be really cool. If you see me looking up a lot, I'm just looking at the reference image. I'll just double check as well, the music isn't too loud in the background, is it? Oh, and the music just stopped as I said that. But yeah, I would love to do like a, especially of like the R2 and C3PO, maybe like a limited run, so limited prints. And not just kind, because, yeah, not kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't want to like I don't know, mass produce prints. I'd rather have like, you know, a select few and sell them at maybe a higher price. Like really nice high quality prints, I'm thinking. Oh, you can't hear any music. I'll maybe higher up a little touch then. Let me know if that's too loud. I kind of wanted like a little bit of background, like ambience, so it's not just dead silent when I'm not talking. Yeah, I feel like if I was to mass produce like loads of prints and just have like an external company selling them, I'd feel like it, I don't know, it kind of just, I don't know whether it cheapens my work a little bit, if that makes sense. I'm just gonna add a little bit of red here. But yeah, I kind of got inspiration from the Obi-Wan series where obviously they're having a battle and the helmet cracks and you can see Anakin's eye, but I've kind of gone with that for this piece, and I've got I don't know what I'm doing with my arm actually, I've just seen what I'm doing with my arm in the camera. I kind of wanted that cracked helmet look, but then also a lot of Anakin on display, so I've kind of used that as inspiration. But yeah, that's it. That's exactly it. It wouldn't feel as personal, I think, if I was just selling print after print. And like I said before, I do get attached to them, and yeah, I don't know how to describe it. It wouldn't feel as personal, like, for anyone buying it as well. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of a pink tone here. Thank you guys for being so supportive and asking lots of questions as well. When I did the wash under this, I like made the blend from blue to red to obviously, it makes it a little bit easier to see the different tones that should be in that area when I'm painting over it, which is nice. I feel like I would recommend that to anyone when they're starting out to painting, is look at the colour that's most prominent on your painting and make the wash kind of a tone of that, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's the issue, because I know eventually I'll put Catwoman up for sale as well when I'm finished with it. And I've got my C-3PO as well. And I just kind of feel like I'm just going to hoard paintings and just be poor and not sell them. It's like on the reference picture, like these lighter areas are kind of a pink tone. I'm just going to get my other. So in my setup is just a mess, but I have a tub of brush cleaner and then some linseed oil in a separate tub that is still badly stained from the R2 painting. So what I might do is go in with a little bit of pink. And you wouldn't associate pink with Darth Vader, but there is some really nice pink tones. Oh, this music's a bit weird, let me skip that. I've got like a royalty free playlist just playing in the background, but some of them are just a bit strange, so oh, I get like drawer and painting block so much. I think when you have a busy life as well, and lots of distractions, hard to stay focused. Sorry, I'm concentrating on that line there. Ooh. Yeah, I think when you've got like such a busy life, it is easy to get overwhelmed and lose motivation. Let me skip this. That one's a little bit nicer. There we go. Yeah, so I feel like I get block a lot of the time, and I feel like sometimes you do just need to take a break, and you feel so unproductive, and you feel like when you take a break, you should be doing something productive with your time. But I think when you're creating anything, you need a lot of energy for art. You need a lot of energy to put into your art, otherwise it just won't come out the way that you want it to be. And I feel like when I've rested, like during the school half terms, for example, if I have like a week off to kind of rest and then I've got an extra week after that, I feel like I'm always the most productive and creative during that period of time, if that makes sense. So sometimes taking a break, but also exposing yourself to new things. It's like just me reading that new book series has already inspired me to want to paint new things. And I feel like that's why I paint a lot of like pop culture references. I love Star Wars, so I never get bored of painting the characters. So I always choose something that I enjoy as well. Enjoy painting. I feel like it's really easy to say yes to commissions as well that just don't interest you. And that's something I'm still learning, because I want to say yes to everything. But I feel like I get a block when I'm doing something that I don't want to do as well. And I know you'll relate with that, Jenny. But I feel like when something feels forced, yeah. Hello again. I have figured out the camera issue as well, so I'll have that sorted next time. It's on like an auto shutter at the minute, so it just goes off. So I'll just keep doing this for now. Alright. Let me make sure that's focused. We're a little out of focus. There we go. But yeah, like I was saying before, I feel like sometimes as creatives we put so much pressure on ourselves to keep making. And I think it actually ends up affecting the quality of things that you make. A little highlight there, shall we? I'm liking how this is kind of looking. I don't know if you can see it. I'll zoom in a little bit. And the lighting's not great in here today. But you can see that's kind of starting to get that reflective. There's still obviously highlights and shadows to add, but we're starting to get somewhere. Again, if the music gets too loud, let me know. But yeah, I'm just going to go in some of these areas. Now this is the hard part when I'm using oils, is not leaning in the paint. I mean, I always lean in the paint. I just need to add a layer of pink. And what I've realised is I've like perfectly matched the background pink, so I couldn't even tell the difference then. Alright, some little pink areas over here as well. So I think I'm going to try and go into this section because that highlight's not actually that big. I'm just gonna pink there. See, I'm doing it already. I'm leaning in the paint. I just need to make that a little bit darker. Add a little bit of blue. There's kind of like a little bit of a purple colour here. So I'm just mixing that up. Thank you. Yeah, I'm liking these red highlights already so far. I decided Anakin's outfit as well. I've chosen his clothes from the Clone Wars. add a little bit of darker. There's a bit of a gradient here, so I don't want to go too... I'm just blending on my palette at the minute if anyone is wondering what I'm doing. Let's maybe go, it's quite a pinky purple. Purple's a really hard colour to mix with your primary colours, so I actually bought a purple I should probably be using, but let's go with this. And one thing you'll find as well is, like, I'll always prepare a design like in Photoshop or on an editing program or like Procreate, things like that, and the colour vibrancy that you have on screen is never going to be matched by the oil paints. So I think it's just trying to get a close enough match that you can. Let's go with that colour for now. And then I'm actually going to add some darker red. Let's get a bit of black. Yeah, you'll find like some people like perfectly mix up their palette before they start and things like that. Just kind of wing it. Right, let's add in a little bit of a darker colour here. Ooh. Let's go with that. And let's add a little bit of bright red in that corner. You get a nice gradient there. This little section, it kind of has like a highlight in the centre and then it goes darker. Let me get some more of that dark colour. Let's pop that there. When I'm concentrating on this, I don't know what the hell I'm doing with my face, so ignore any weird facial expressions. I've never yet drew Chewbacca, but I definitely would paint or draw it. I think like a few Wookiees together would be a really cool drawing design. Let's see. Alright. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab another brush. I'm going to give that one a clean. And I always end up just putting it all over myself, getting paint all over myself. Let's get some of that oil. And then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of darken that area now. I'm going to get some black. I might actually mix the black with a little bit of red. And then let's go right under here and cut this. to. I know it's silly, but I'm just going to put a little bit of darker colour in there to get a bit more of a gradient. I think sometimes blending in the colours from different areas, really helps get an overall, almost making sure it all blends together and the colours work well together. And then there is some more red highlight. Let me just wash this brush. And I've just realised the time as well. We're actually coming up on an hour. I was originally just going to stay on for an hour. I might just finish up this little area and then call it a night. So if anyone's got any last questions they want to ask. Right, let's add. And some of this. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing this regularly, just jumping on and live streaming, and I just find it a lot better than having to create reels and forced content. I'd rather just be organic and have people see the full process. I think one thing I find that I do a lot is compare myself to others on Instagram, and that I'm not creating quickly enough or creating for the algorithm, if that makes sense. I'm liking how that's looking so far. I might actually, before I finish, just focus a little bit on, there's some red highlights here. There's a little bit of that in there. Okay, let's add a little bit of a highlight here. It's like a little squiggle. And then I'm just going to go in with that darker colour again. I do feel it's finally starting to come together a little bit after just adding some of those details. But I do feel like, you know, this is more the content that I want to be creating. You guys get to see the full process. Rather than just snippets. Okay. Add a bit more red here. Yeah, I'm probably going to make this like a regular thing every weekend, maybe Sundays. I'll figure out what days might work better for anyone who wants to view it, and times and things like that, because obviously there's different time zones. Let's go with adding a little bit more black here. So the streams. Oh, sorry, I've just realised I'm covering the whole video. I'm going to upload obviously on here the full videos, and then I am actually going to create a YouTube account as well. So, if people can't make the streams, they can obviously watch them afterwards. Because I know obviously everyone has busy lives and they can't always make these things. Though I do appreciate when people join it, because I do feel less alone with it, and when people ask questions and things like that. I think someone mentioned that there's some issues with the chat as well, so I am sorry about that. Okay, I think I'll just finish this little area and then I'll check if the chat's working again and is there any last minute questions. So this area here, let me grab another. I'm just going to grab some of that pinky colour. There's some kind of red highlights here, angling this outwards, making it a little bit more 3D. I was actually so stressed on the build up to this, but it's actually not been that bad. So thank you everyone. Yeah, I'm going to be saving the streams or uploading them to Twitch in the video area. So if anyone wanted to watch them afterwards, or if they couldn't make it, they can view it there as well as on YouTube. Alright. I think in future I'll probably stream a little bit longer as well. I planned for an hour today. I think it was more just because I was stressed. But yeah, I actually feel quite comfortable now and I'm getting to a flow of it. One of the reasons why I wanted to do this as well was actually to motivate me to paint more, because I feel like obviously if people are watching me, I kind of have to. Yeah, it's really nice to have company whilst I paint as well. I feel like sometimes you do feel a little bit on your own when you're painting in your own little bubble. So that's what I want to do. I want to encourage people to actually paint with me and draw along and things like that. Yeah, it's not been stressful at all. I actually feel really good now. On the build up, I was literally jumping on the spot, like full of adrenaline. But it's actually been really nice. Okay. But yeah, it's lovely to have your company whilst I paint. I found as well, like a lot of people that follow me, they have a lot of similar interests. So we have things to chat about and things like that. I've just kind of winged it today. I think next time I'll probably have some talking points or just things that talk about things I like and things like that. Ooh. Alrighty, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish off there. As you can see, I've only made like a little bit of progress, but it is starting to come together. Oh, am I zooming in or out? Are we zooming in or out? I think
my camera's frozen now, so we're just going to leave that one on there. But yeah, I am really happy with how it's starting to come together. I feel like just adding those few little details have really started to make it look 3D. You'll have to let me know what you think about it as well. Even if you want to send me a message on Instagram. And again, with the stream today, if you've got any feedback or any issues that you experienced or any recommendations for what I can talk about next time on the stream, like feel free to shoot me a message on Instagram. But yeah, that's it. I'm going to cut off now. Thank you so much for obviously attending the live and asking questions and making me not feel alone with it. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.